Hi, I'm Danny and these are my Diecast Disasters. In this video I'm going to be restoring this little Corgi number 463, the Comma Ambulance. These were first produced in 1964. They also did a military version in 1965. And this was very kindly sent to me by Nathan from Australia, so thanks heaps for that, mate. Finally got round to doing it. So we'll take it off the turntable and have a closer look. Classic sort of beat up looking old Corgi toy. You can see this one's got an interesting gimmick. It's got a little screw underneath it, a little tab that you can twist around, and then the back of the van comes off. See the windscreen in there's broken, and otherwise just looking pretty scuffed and grubby. Worn out old tyres. Anyway, a cool little old toy from the 60s in dire need of a clean-up. So there's one post holding it together. I'm just going to use a center punch here to make the hole a little bit bigger for the drill. And then I'll drill it out. And I'll be able to take it all apart. So the base comes off first. See the wheels are held in by a couple of pieces of wire. And there's the little tab to hold the rear on. The interior, and then I have to drill out another little short post that's holding the windscreen in. I can take that out as well. And of course the windscreen just falls out of the rear section. To take the wheels out, I'm just going to bend up the wire there. I can take the front ones out, and then using my pliers I'll just pull it out a little bit, and I should be able to take the rear ones out as well. So that's nice that I can get the wheels off and cleaned up without having to take them off of the axles. Saves a bit of work. So now I've taken everything off the castings, I can use some paint stripper to clean the paint off of them. So here they are after paint stripping. They're all looking a bit dull and oxidized. There's the odd scrap of paint still on them, so they get the clean up with the wire brush on the Dremel. And here they are, looking all nice and clean and shiny and ready for some paint, well, just about. First, I'm just going to drill and tap that post. So I'm using a 1.7mm drill and a 256 tap. It's not a very long post, so make sure you don't drill all the way through if you're doing one. To lubricate my tap when I'm doing it, I just rub it on a candle before I tap the hole. It just puts a little bit of wax on there. Right, so there's all the castings ready for some paint. And they're both given a couple of coats of nice fresh white. Made some new ambulance decals to go on the side there. I'll just apply those. And I also use some silver paint just to detail the lights and the grills and stuff. So easy as, really. Now onto the chassis. You can see it's missing one of these tabs at the front there. They're actually visible from the outside of the van. So I'm going to have to fix them up. I'm using a little bit of epoxy putty there to build up a new tab. And once that had cured, I'm going to reinforce it with some of my Starbond super glue. I'm using a medium thick. Just apply that and it all sort of soaks in and strengthens it up. Then I could use a needle file and some sandpaper to sand it into shape. Now I've got a pretty decently strong repair. Here it is after a light coat of silver. And then I repainted the base in a light grey. Onto the windscreens now. No cracks or anything, well, none that you can see, just the light missing up top, but they're a bit scuffed. You can see there's quite the mark in the front of the windscreen there. So I took some 1200 grit sandpaper and a bit of water, and I'll give them a jolly good sand to remove all of those harsh scratches and scuffs. Here they are after sanding. There's no more scratches, but they're looking pretty opaque. So the next step will be a polish with some plastic polish. And here they are after polishing. They're looking much better now. And Nathan was also kind enough to send me this little bag of LEDs. And there's exactly the right sized one in there to replace the light on top. It was a bit long, so I've just chopped the bottom off it. Just used a scalpel to do that, it was quite easy. I'll pop that in there, it's a nice tight fit. And I can put the old broken windscreen back in. Oops, I'll make sure I get it the right way around, might help. And then to hold that in place, I'm just going to use some crystal clear. That'll just set completely transparent. Just fill up the hole there. And then the same with the windscreen and the cab, just to fit it in place there. And use a little dab of the crystal clear, just to make sure it isn't going to fall out. So that just leaves the wheels really. So I'm going to pop these old grody tyres off. You can see how perished they are, they're just cracking apart. Not really rubbery at all anymore. You can see these ones just breaking apart as I take them off. Right, so that's the tyres off. The hubs are looking a bit grubby, so I'm just going to give them a jolly good clean with some cotton buds. I didn't have to use any polish, they were just dirty really. I gave the axles a quick clean up with a wire brush. They weren't too bad either, but nice to give them a bit of a quick burnish. And finally I got some nice new tyres here, and I'll just pop those on to replace the old ones. Looking good. Now I just need to put them back into the chassis. So the rear one, I'll just plonk in there and then use the pliers to grab the wires and push them back. Then I just used a skewer to hold the wires up while I put the front wheels in. Right, there it goes, it's rolling again. I'll just have to put that back onto the body. I've put the tab back into place there, and I'll just use a little bit of tape to hold it in place while I screw the chassis back on. And there's the two front tabs slip in, and I've got a little 256 button head screw I'll use to hold it all together. And that's about that. That's our little ambulance all tidied up. Hopefully ready to go back out on the road. We're on COVID lockdown again here for a little while in New Zealand, so I thought it was fitting to do the ambulance. So we'll just take a quick look back at what we started with. Here's our scruffy looking little Corgi ambulance sent over by Nathan from Australia. But I don't know what I'd think if the paramedics turned up to pick me up in this rough looking vehicle with its chipped paint, broken rear windscreen and bald tyres. So let's see if we can tidy it up a bit. And here it is, our finished, restored Corgi, ambulance. So I think you have to agree it's looking much cleaner with a nice new white paint job. It's also got nice new decals there and fresh detailing. The windows have been polished and it's got a new light up top. And of course those nice new tyres. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Did you have one of these when you were a kid? Shout out to my Patreons for supporting the channel. Thanks heaps. Check out the description below for some cool links to this and that. Thanks heaps for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, remember to like and subscribe. And I'll catch you in the next one.